Now, he's a world-class political operative, still can't go to his left. Trey Harden, ABC News Political Analyst. Good morning, Trey.
Good morning, Mariah. I actually have been having trouble going to my right this election as well.
Good point. All right, so, there is a pattern with this Donald Trump deal, and that is every time there is a story that can really ding Hillary Clinton, he goes off the rails. This weekend, these emails of this $12 million from Morocco, where the staff didn't want her to go, and she had to go for the money. She sends Bill and Chelsea instead, right? I mean, that is a terrible story for her, only to be stepped on by Donald Trump saying that he's now going to sue all these women as soon as he becomes president.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we talked about it last week. I said, if it was any other candidate other than Hillary Clinton running on the Democrat side right now, we just wouldn't even be talking about this race anymore. It'd be long over, and the Democrats would be winning easily. But because it's her, we still are talking about it because it definitely is a race. And on the flip side, I mean, if it were because of how bad she is, if there was any other Republican other than the clown, as I've started calling him, because it just seems what it is. It's just a circus, and you never know what you're going to get. We too very well could be not even talking about the race because the Republicans would be running away with it. You're exactly right. I mean, there are keys. There's the blocking and tackling the last 4 weeks of an election, of any election, are essential. Voter turnout, reaching undecideds, or turning undecideds to your side, or independents to your side. And how you do that is with positive messaging. And when you're talking about the issues, you're talking about alternatives to Obamacare, for example. You're talking about fixing the immigration problem. And when you're not able to talk about those because you are talking about the people that are pissing you off every day, you're just trampling all over everything you need to do. On top of that, when you are so inexperienced at doing this stuff that you are not able to lead a team into having the proper organization at the precinct level, at the voter turnout level, at the voter registration level, absentee ballot level, it's just going to be hard for you to even compete. And that's the situation with Donald Trump. He's got his experience, and the inexperience of his team is really showing through in these last few weeks.
No, you're absolutely right. And it also, with some of these emails, we've also seen the foundation and the organization in Hillary's campaign that has left no stone unturned and no vote unturned to try and get me. You can really see it is an organization from top to bottom.
Yeah, exactly. And people can complain about this Donald Duck stuff all they want, about the campaigns being colluding and doing all that stuff. And, sure, could there be, after the election, some investigations about it because could there be FEC violations? This stuff happens all the time. And there is, both sides use funny, humorous tricks that some people might think are stupid and ridiculous about infiltrating people's rallies or infiltrating people's campaigns. At the end of the day, it really means nothing to voters that are suffering because of the economy, who are suffering because of their fear on the national security front. I mean, it's fun for all of us to talk about, but again, why are groups like the conservative media and Donald Trump worrying about that and not talking about how Hillary has no plan or the wrong plan on these other issues?
Trey Harden, I'm starting to hear some people and some rumblings about Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, that if they lose some seats in the House, Republicans might retain control, but that Paul Ryan's speakership is in somewhat trouble because he wouldn't back Donald Trump. Are you hearing anything like that?
No, I can tell you, I'm very close to it, that is just inaccurate. If anything, Paul Ryan if he was smart, he would retire no matter what happens after this election, because I think if he has any desire to run for president and ultimately maybe save the party down the road, and right now I can't think of anyone else who's in a better position to do that or is more equipped to do that. And if there are other names, I'd love to hear them. I'm not certain. I'm certainly not saying I'm drinking the Paul Ryan Kool-Aid. I'm just saying he's the only alternative at this point. the only chance he has is to retire from. There's no way he can run for president down the road as staying as Speaker of this crazy House of Republicans right now. So, if anything, no matter what happens, he would get out of there because for his own well-being. It's not necessarily his style. He doesn't necessarily like to run away from that stuff. He's a policy guy, but I don't think that there is enough of a wave of pro-Trump people in the Republican House of Representatives to want to take him out at this point.
I've heard Democrats say they want Paul Ryan there to give them cover, and so they can cut a deal with Paul Ryan and say to the Bernie Sanders people, hey, this is as far as we could go. Paul Ryan will not let us go any further.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's, listen, Paul Ryan is someone that is focused on solutions, and to many Republicans, they don't like that. They don't want to provide solutions. They just want it one way. And I can't remember the last time that this country or Congress has functioned properly, and it's because the art of compromise, the desire for compromise, which has to happen in order to get anything done in this town, must drive the day, and no one is willing to do that anymore. And as long as that's the case, then they're not going to like the John Boehners of the world or the Paul Ryans of the world or anyone who's willing to acknowledge that they're going to hate 20% of a deal in order to get it through, and that's okay. So compromise on both sides unfortunately has lost its will, and that's because I think the extreme wings of both parties, Bernie Sanders on the left and the Tea Partiers on the right, have been driving their own party's agenda.
Yeah. Trey, we got to run. Have a good week. We'll talk to you next week, which will be 1 week from election, and our long national nightmare is soon to be over.
Absolutely. Talk to you later.
All right. Trey Harden here, 627, Big 550, KTR.